Hey everybody, Karen from Master Spirit Guides. How you doing this weekend? I hope you're doing great. So, we've got a lot to talk about today. I decided today, it's Sunday, so I thought I would ask the Lead Team Collective, which is all of our spirit guides together, for the energies of the week or messages they wanted to give us for this upcoming week. I'm going to see about doing that every Sunday. We'll see. I mean, sometimes it just depends on what my interest is. Okay. So I really try now not to guarantee this is how it's going to be from now on, but I kind of like the idea. I was going to do July energies, and I thought, you know what? Why don't we do 1 week at a time? And so on Sundays, we'll get some messages for the upcoming week. We do the same thing in the Spirit Circle, which is a more individualized message for the Spirit Circle on Sundays. So we do a weekly blessing. And the really nice thing about that, if you haven't joined the Spirit Circle, it doesn't cost that much. If you want to come in, and on Sundays we do a clearing for whatever the message is that Spirit wants us to know for the week. And so we do an energy clearing and we get a big, huge hug from the Spirit Guides, which is amazing. So the link for the Spirit Circle is below if you're interested in joining. So today we're going to do that. We actually have 5 messages today, so I'm not going to be able to chit chat as much in the beginning, which I'm sure you're maybe not disappointed about. Hey, I like chit chatting sometimes with you. I think I came to realize that for 30 years, I've mentioned this before, but for 30 years, I've been listening to people. And so now is my time to talk. Anyways, a little snort there at the end. Okay, so we have 6 messages, 2 oracle decks they wanted me to use for these 6 messages. So we'll see what else, they want to tell us for the week. But I wanted to go over some comments about the 30-day challenge, which is ending tomorrow. So good job, you guys. And I want to tell you how I approached the 30-day challenge. Okay. So if you're not familiar with the 30-day challenge, it basically was an opportunity. You know what? If you haven't started it, you can start it today and do it today and tomorrow. It doesn't really matter. The idea is that you spend some time journaling and that you write a letter sometimes once a week, once a month, to your spirit guides. Okay. Now, some of the folks in this community have done all 30 days. So good job, you. Okay. I'm going to tell you, I did not do all 30 days, and I'll tell you about my experience in a minute. Okay. And why I chose not to do that. And maybe you can learn from my experience, but I also want you to hear some comments. Okay. Now, if you're not familiar, we do have a 30-day journal that you can purchase that is all structured with it's 2 pages of journaling and then a letter to your spirit guides. Okay. And so you could do that. You could get a journal. You can use your own journal too, but you could get a journal. I will link it right here, the QR code for those. So I designed those journals. And what's nice about it is it's 30 days, but if you don't do all 30 days in a row, you could do, once a week. You know what I mean? It just gives you a little bit of structure anyways. So let's read some comments. Okay. So this is what people have said because they're writing letters and spending time with their spirit guides. Okay. And the letter is meant you're basically having some communication with them in writing. Okay. So some people chose to do pull an oracle card every day and then write on that, journal, and then realize, oh, I need a little assistance in this area. I'm going to ask my spirit guides in a letter. Okay. So that was the whole idea. Okay. And it's similar to just praying, or talking to them verbally, but there's something about the energy of writing it down. I don't know what it is. I'm sure many of you who have done this understand what that energy is now. So if you have a way to explain that in the comments, that would be amazing. Or share if you didn't fill out the little survey that I had put out, and it came out through the newsletter. So if you're not signed up through our newsletter, you can sign up right there. There's a QR code in the corner here, and in a description in the line, and link in the description. But so I sent out a Google form to see how are people doing. It was like halfway through. Okay. And so these are some of the comments. And I did list in the last week's newsletter some other comments. So these are new. Okay. I asked for a sign from guides on an issue I was working on and received one. I am more calm and centered. That was a different comment. Another comment. Yes, I found my long lost hearing aid after paying $4,100 for custom made new ones. It was missing for 6 weeks. Thanks to my spirit guides, I got all my money back from the newly purchased hearing aids. So I'm assuming this person wrote down, could you please give me guidance on where my hearing aid is or hearing aids? And they were missing for 6 weeks until he or she specifically asked. So that's really cool. Somebody put maybe. So the question was, if yes, like if you've been participating, have you been noticing any miracles or change in perception, that sort of thing? And that we would love to hear it. So somebody said, maybe. I just feel so chill. The LA stuff would have had me stressed. I don't know if it is the journaling this week or just a continuation of the growth I've been experiencing while being a part of this community. That's awesome. It doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't matter as long as you feel good. That's all that matters. And so keep doing what you're doing. If it's the journaling, if it's, maybe you take a little break from the journaling and then you realize, oh, I'm not that calm anymore. And then you'll get a little bit of a hint on that because we're all different, right? I asked my SGs and GAs, guardian angels, to please speak to my daughter's spirit guides and guardian angels to guide her in a way as to not ignore her father and myself. I know she's tired when she gets home from baking all day and on her feet, but a hello parents would suffice. Well, surprise, surprise. She's been visiting with us almost every day this week. Wow. Very cool. And that's a really good message actually for all of us. Who maybe haven't made contact with somebody recently. I love a hello parents would suffice. So people aren't expecting a lot of stuff, but maybe it's time to reach out. So that was a really good message for those who maybe have some reaching out to do. Okay. I have been receiving the message that more and more relationships will be ending as people with 5D trajectory move away from 3D energy. We are going to be pulled towards our 5D soul families. I've also been getting the message to release all fear and judgments and use this present time to focus on prioritizing inner alignment. Beautiful. I have been struggling with creative writing and unable to do any for months. I'm now back to writing my poetry, just from starting to, ask for assistance. That's really all it is. Some of the letters that I wrote were like 3 sentences long. It's not a complicated thing. Okay. We don't need to make it a big, if you have 10 minutes in a day, then it's 10 minutes in a day. It doesn't have to be complicated. Clearing fear and becoming a neutral observer, beginning to feel and notice communication with my guides, learning to communicate with them with the pendulum, which has been amazing. Cool. I have been given strangers space to make mistakes in the past. I would have gotten angry. I have been given strangers space. Anyways, that's okay. I would have gotten angry or made a snarky remark under my breath. Oh, okay. Like strangers make a mistake. Yeah. Or I would have replayed the event in my mind several times, getting angrier each time. I had an occasion to realize the person's mistake and quickly forgave them, thinking maybe they had a reason and they were distracted, and let the mistake go as if it were a hiccup on their part that didn't deserve a response from me, and never gave it another thought. I mean, think about that. You, by doing what you were doing before, were just making your life miserable. It had nothing to do, like they weren't angry. They didn't have any idea you were even mad, probably. You know what I mean? So that is amazing. That is awesome. So I have chosen to work on the 4 agreements this month during the journaling challenge. In the first weeks leading up to the beginning of the challenge, I had been receiving many messages through tarot and oracle cards to love myself. I have struggled with this concept and have been searching for what exactly this means. On the first day of the challenge, as I was reading the first agreement, the author said, you can measure the impeccability of your word by your level of self-love. Then later that same day, I watched Karen as she had 2 messages from the LTC for the whole community. Love yourself and let go of outcomes. And she got chills. That's awesome. And then that began a rabbit hole of self-discovery on how to go about loving myself. Oh my gosh, I totally get that. I never, until like this year, until I started really doing this kind of work with you guys and us together, I never really understood that at all. I didn't understand self-love. I mean, I do like conceptually, I guess, or, logically, but I didn't really understand it until now. So, so she said that she said, this is only one such experience during this 11 days, and it has been has been transforming. I think I skipped a sentence. This whole experience has been amazing. I'm grateful to Karen and her team and her whole community, that's you guys, including spirit teams, for this incredible adventure. Okay, that's awesome. I could go on and on, you guys. There's like 87. So love it. I love it so much. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. I want to remind you about June astrology. I know we only have 2 days left in June. Is that right? Yeah, 2 days. Yep, 2 days left in June. But I want to remind you, because we still have 2 days left in June, okay? And this report comes from Faye, who's a member of our community. You can find her in the small business directory, although I think she's booking up, but there's other people in there. So, okay. So, and oh, by the way, reminder, 2 days left before the price goes up for the small business directory. If you have a small business and you want to join, the link is below. Okay, that was a good. I just forgot about that. That's coming up tomorrow, end of day tomorrow on the 30th. Okay, and then I'm excited, starting on July 1st, we'll start looking at, I'll talk about it, we'll start looking at the July astrology that Faye's done for us and see what's coming up that way, okay? And then I'll also have some in the newsletter this week. Okay, so let what needs to end. Okay, so think about this month. Have you been able to do any of that? Let what needs to end. Let what wants to grow, and stay open to new ways of being in the world. Now, obviously, we don't want to necessarily change those things going even forward, but they're just nice reminders, okay? June was about clarity, endings, and brand new beginnings. If it felt heavier, remember, you're not alone. We're in this together. Stay grounded and trust your spirit guides and higher self are right here with you, okay? And just as a reminder, we're releasing the 3D and moving to the 5D, and as we do, we're walking each other home. I love how she says that, okay? So that just gave me chills. Okay. So then, are you still operating from the fear, control, and manipulation of the 3D? So we're trying to move away from that, okay? Or are you aligning with the courage, connection, and compassion of the 5D? So even though we're done with the 30-day challenge, I hope that this is a regular, oh yeah, I was going to tell you about my experience with 30-day challenge, wasn't I? I hope that you'll continue and just do what's reasonable for you, okay? So let me just tell you real quick, and then I'll finish up this report. The 30-day challenge for me, and you guys knew in the beginning, I was telling you about how I had written a letter about wanting to change. I wanted once and for all to find a way to eat that was healthy for my body, and then let go of just any kind of obsession about anything about food. I was just sick of it, like there's just so many conflicting messages and blah, 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 blah. Okay. And so then I started getting, this is what I should do. Okay. So it doesn't matter what I should do. So that's not the point. But if you ask the same thing, you'll get what you should do. Okay. So that was that was even before the challenge. Okay. I think that letter, because I had already started writing my letters like 2 weeks prior to the challenge, just because I'm making it a regular part of my life. Okay. Which is that's really was the point of the challenge, is to get people to start making this a regular part of your life. Okay. So then because I literally spent the whole month. I spent the whole month gutting out stuff out of my kitchen, changing the way I was eating, and it's taken me a long time. That took a while to do that shift. So I actually did not write another letter since, well, I did a couple after that, but because I was allowing them to give me more guidance, and it hasn't stopped because and this just came across mine. I was talking about this last week. I'm going to do this 4-week reprogram of your microbiome. And so it hasn't stopped yet. And I'm like, I can just tell, like, it wasn't helpful for me to keep writing additional letters of support when they were giving me so much support on this major overhaul I've been doing. Okay. And so that alone that was enough. Okay. So I wanted to tell you that story, that it's okay. So I actually haven't written a letter in the entire month of June. So I know that might sound hypocritical, but it's not meant to because it's an example. Everybody was on their own journey here. Okay. And this is just a good example of listening. And because it was such a major overhaul for me, I was like, this is all I can handle right now. I'm not going to keep asking for more and more support on other things until I get this down. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's why I did that. And now I'm just about to the point. I'm completely organized. I've got everything's just moving along great. And I'm making yogurt. I know how to do all that kind of stuff. And now I can start writing again. So, okay. So going back to the 3D, 5D. So the 3D, 5D divides we're getting louder in June. And there's no doubt. Okay. I have a feeling that's going to continue, but we'll talk about that on Wednesday with the January report. Okay. So the 3D energy feels like, so if you're still in this energy, you want to consider writing a letter to your guides or asking them for assistance on helping you shift from these energies. Okay. Fighting to be right, power over control, scarcity, fear and blame, spiritual disconnection. Okay. So those are 3D energies. 5D energy, radical self-trust, surrender and intuition, unity consciousness, sacred presence, and peace. Okay. So I would guess that a lot of us are somewhere in the middle. And depending on the day, depending on what you hear, whatever. The key, and this is getting stronger and stronger for me, that when I do hear things that are used to be really triggering are not as triggering as they once were. So I can tell that I'm moving in that direction. Okay. Just a few more things. This is a call. So in terms of, it had to do with the charts and Pluto and this kind of stuff, but I'm not going to go into that. This is a comment that Faye had come in the report. This is a call for this community, for our community here, to mature emotionally and align with your soul's plan. Okay, so we want to keep working on that. In other words, grow up and do the work you came here to do. Okay, it's time to grow up and do, for all of us, in all different areas. Okay, you might be really grown up in some areas and not so grown up in others. That's common for me too. Okay, so what no longer fits, relationships, roles, beliefs, and habits will begin to show themselves clearly in June. So the question is, did they for you? It's like cleaning out your closet. If it doesn't fit, release it, let it go. The new story can't be written while the old one is still clinging to the past. Okay? So it's the same thing with us as a society shifting from 3D to 5D. We can't keep clinging to the old behaviors or being obsessed about the old behaviors or being angry, reacting to them if we don't, we can't keep clinging to them if we expect to move forward, right? So we are a soul family who isn't trying to fix the past. Okay, that's a really good message for me. We're not trying to fix the past. We're embodying the future. and we're doing it together. For those who are exhausted, get rest when you can. If you're lit up, follow that spark. If you're in the void, trust that the seeds are still sprouting underground, and we're all different. Some of you are going to be exhausted right now. Get your rest. The rest of us who are not, who are lit up, will continue with the spark until we need the rest, and then you're lit up, okay? And then some of us might be in the void right now, and just trust that your seeds in the void, probably being like totally not motivated, frustrated, that's when, rest is probably needed for you then too, okay? Use your tools, setting intentions, meditation, rest, sacred ritual, laughter, healthy boundaries. Use your voice, use discernment, trust yourself. We're not surviving the shift, we're shaping it together. That's a huge difference. We're not surviving. We're not surviving. Nobody's doing it to us. We're doing it, and we get to shape it. That's very exciting. Okay, so end of June, just wanted to look back at that. Okay, so what are we on? 21. Okay, so we've got 5 messages for this week, okay? And I use the pendulum. I'll show you in case you're new here. The pendulum map. Okay, so they spelled these messages out for me using a little pendulum. I did a few live pendulums this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Did you guys see the one with the angels? Oh, by the way, if you haven't watched the unicorn, I'll put the angels and the unicorns around here at the end of this video. It'll pop up. You guys got to watch the unicorns because, first of all, the Unicorn Collective gave us a name. Don't put it in the comments. People need to go listen. I'll share this week sometime. So our lead team collective is the name that our guides together gave us. That's the name they gave themselves. Well, our personal unicorns as a collective gave themselves a name. Okay, that's in that video that I did yesterday on Saturday. Okay, so the energies for the week or the messages for the week. Okay, I don't have it on sticky notes. I put it in my journal. Okay, and then I'm going to pull some cards that they wanted us to pull. So there's 5 messages. So if you want to write these down, and then maybe you can look at them at the end of the week and say, or just consider them for yourself. Okay, hang on to faith. They spelled that out. Hang on to faith. So whatever that faith is, I can ask for clarification using the dowsing rods, but I'm just going to go with, you can interpret that, what that means to you. Okay. Hang on to faith. The next one is love yourself. Love yourself. They're reminding us. They keep reminding us to love ourselves. Okay. They spelled that out for me today. The next one, justice coming. Justice coming. I might have to dive into that with the dowsing rods. Then this is another reminder to us, and this is a reminder to me because I have not been doing it. I think now that I'm going to get back to writing letters and I'm going to get back to meditating. So why are you just waiting was something they spelled out. Why are you just waiting? Meditate. Okay, so this week, remember this is just for this week. Next Sunday, I'll do another round of messages. Okay. And then this is interesting, entertainment purposes only and allegedly. So remember, justice is coming. That was the 3rd message for the week. The 4th message, tag him with treason. Tag him. They use the word tag. Tag him with treason. And then they spelled the word frumpy. Okay. So let's see. Now, they have given us messages like that in the past. Absolutely. Does that mean we don't trust them? No, not at all. There's a reason they're giving us these messages, and whether it's for hope, whether it's maybe something actually is going to be coming up this week, maybe things were supposed to come up when they gave us to it before and the energy shifted. That is absolutely probably what always happens. Okay. We just have to hang on to faith. Hang on to faith. Focus on yourself. Focus on your love of yourself and meditating. Okay. Continue writing your letters or start writing your letters to your guides. Okay. Hang on to faith. So we got 3 personal messages, and then justice is coming, justice coming. They didn't say is, it's just justice coming. And then tag him with treason. Oh, they spelled out the word treason. Yikes. Okay, so they gave me 2 decks. We'll just start with this one. Cosmic Timing Oracle deck. Okay, Cosmic Timing. Okay, so I close my aura to all but my higher self. Did you guys want that one? This is again a very slippery deck. I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, the lead team collective, and only those of the highest and purest light, and ask Archangel Michael to please protect my channel, your channel, the community. I'm like, huh? The community, the lead team collective, so it is all of the highest and purest light. Amen. You guys, yeah, if you watch the angel video from Friday, it blew my mind, actually. I know a lot of people have had some really good comments about it too. But Archangel Michael and the angels of cybersecurity, believe it or not, showed up in that video and gave us messages. So if that sparks any interest, I'll put the angel one right here. It'll pop up, and the unicorn one I'll put up right there. Okay. Okay, so you guys, you wanted me to use this deck. What messages do you have for us for this week that goes along with your pendulum messages you gave us? Aha, we got a flyer. I really prefer the flyers. Okay, we'll see about that one. We have one other deck, so I'm going to maybe just pull. Let's just see if they can give it to us in a couple. Okay, anything else, you guys? Okay, let's see. Okay. All right. Did you guys want me to read these cards, or do you want me to read one of these cards, at least one of them? Yes. Do you want me to pull any others from the deck? No? Okay. So what about the card on the far right? Do you want me to read that one? Yes. Do you want me to read the one in the middle? No. And the one on the left? Yes. Okay. That was the one that really flew, the one on the left. Okay. So this one was, okay, that's funny, because we did get this in May. Actually, we got one that said in July too. So obviously May, that could be for next year, but that's not the card they wanted us to read. So, okay. So the first card that flew out, oh, that is so weird. Okay. Okay. You remember when I was first started shuffling and a card fell out, and then I put it, I don't know if you saw me, but I put it back in the deck. It was this card. And then this is the one that just fell out again. So I don't really know how to interpret this within 6 months. I don't know how to interpret that. We'll see. Let's see what the next card is. Maybe, hopefully this gives us a hint. Next week. Okay, so we have next week and within 6 months. So I'm going to need some help. Okay, so maybe, okay, so let's ask. Let's just ask. Okay, so are you guys, you're giving us something is happening this coming week? So this week meaning June 29th to the 5th? Yes, okay. Okay, so something's coming up, and then within the next 6 months, something else is coming up that you told us about this week? Yes, okay. So let me guess. Is justice coming this week? Somehow justice is coming this week. And then tag him with treason. Is that within the 6 months? Yes. Okay. So I don't know why they wanted us to know about the tag with treason this week, but they did. So they're saying within 6 months, he will be tagged with treason. Yes. Allegedly, entertainment purposes only. Okay. Okay, so this week will we see him tagged with treason this week? It kind of makes sense, doesn't it, you guys? Because you can't just tag someone with treason, like, you know, unless they said no, unless they've been completely building a case, you know what I mean? Which I think they have, but I mean, one would hope. One can only hope. But that's 3D life, so we're going to let the 3D take care of itself, aren't we? Okay, you guys, so justice coming. Is this in relation to Frumpy Dumpy? Justice coming? Okay, okay. Is it him specifically? They said yes to the first thing. Yes, okay. So we are going to see some signs this week of justice coming. Yes. Now, is it justice for us? Yes. Or is it justice for him? No. Okay. Just want to make sure, you know. You never know how the... Okay, well, that's interesting. I'm going to put next week for justice coming. That's why I got my red pen out still. So I'm going to put next week. I'm trying this a little new thing in my bullet journal here. So if you guys wanted to follow along, I moved it to July. You can do 7 boxes. I did 7. I'll write some additional messages to me based on Oracle. And then you could write down under Justice Coming next week if you wanted to track this with me. And then tag him with Treason. You could put within 6 months. It'd be kind of interesting. That's kind of how I'm doing it. I come up with different ways to do things each week. Just depends on if I just like being a little creative with this kind of stuff. So, okay, so within 6 months. Well, it's nice to think, it is nice to think that we don't have to wait 6 months for some justice to come. Now, remember, isn't Anonymous supposed to come out like July 1st? That's 2 days. Don't disappoint us, Anonymous. Don't disappoint us. We're expecting very big news. Now, I know there's an Anonymous, it's weird because there's like a channel with 3.5 million followers that says Anonymous Official. But I can't tell, like the videos that go out from there, I just can't tell if it's really official. I just can't tell. So I don't know. So I'm not really listening to them. What do you guys think? Does anyone know what the real, is that the real Anonymous channel? Okay, one more, you guys. They want me to pull some cards from Keepers of the Light. Keepers of the Light. Kyle Gray. Okay. All right. So, all right. What messages do you guys have now? It's interesting. Both of that last deck was about Trump. At least, well, about the political stuff. Now, this one probably has to do, oh yeah, we got a bunch of flyers here. I've got 3 there. Let me just see if they want me to do all 3 of those. This is probably more personal on those. Well, hang on to faith, love yourself, and meditate is meditate is really specific. So the message, why are you just waiting? So then they spelled that out. Why are you just waiting? And then I said, waiting for what? And they spelled out meditate. Okay. So that one's self-explanatory because they spelled that out for us. Okay. Did you guys want me to read one of these cards? Yes. Do you want me to read all 3? No. Okay. The one on the right? Yes. The one in the middle? No. The one on the left? No. Did you want me to pull another card from the deck? No. Okay, so just one card from this deck today? Yes. Okay. All right. So, well, let me show you the ones that they didn't have us read, but Mary Magdalene, in case anybody wants to hear this. Teacher awakens. You have something important to share. Follow the inner call. Don't let anything stop you. Okay. That was maybe for somebody. Oh, and Master Jesus. Oh my gosh. That's crazy, you guys. We had Mary Magdalene out of this entire deck and Master Jesus. Forgiveness. Crazy cray. You are on the path of light, love, and forgiveness. Father, healing is possible at this time. Father, healing is possible at this time. Okay, but those weren't the 2, but just in case, sometimes people like to see which cards were pulled that weren't, that I wasn't gonna, that they didn't want us to necessarily have. Okay, Holy Amethyst. Pretty. Divine Alchemy. Move beyond current challenges. Focus on what you desire. Okay, great energy for this week, you guys. I love that message. Okay, move beyond current challenges. Be done with it. We're done with it. We're done with the shenanigans. let justice come. Let it come the way it needs to. We know it will. Just let it happen the way it needs to unfold, okay? Because he's just ridiculous. Okay, move beyond current challenges, focus on what you desire. So that's a great message for the week, is let's all just focus on what we desire, okay? And do it for yourself. Focus on what you want for yourself. That's not selfish, okay? You know, I went and saw the Michael MJ, was it MJ? MJ, I think it's called MJ on Broadway or something like that. A couple weeks ago, I mentioned it. No, it was last Sunday. It was just a week ago. But I've been singing Michael Jackson all week. It's kind of annoying in my head. But the Man in the Mirror, you know, that song, it's basically take a look at yourself and make a change. So it starts with the Man in the Mirror. That's actually how they ended the play, the musical. It was amazing. So that's how they ended it, was with that song. So take a look at yourself and make a change. Okay? So focus on what you desire. Focus on yourself this week. Okay, let's just do that. It's said they want us to, you know, have faith, hang on to faith when it comes to justice is coming, and tagged with treason. Okay, we know we need to meditate, but for love yourself, work on, let's do energy, focus on your desires for you. We have been so focused on the desires for the collective for so many months. Focus on you. It's okay to focus on you, okay? So let's do that this week. Let's focus on ourselves, loving ourselves, asking for what we desire in our life, in your life. It's okay. It's okay. It's not selfish. It's focusing on the man in the mirror, okay? It's better to do that. That's how you make a change, is when you get what you want, your energy, your vibration raises, right? And then you then can make changes in the world. So this week we're going to focus on ourselves. That's what they're wanting us to do. I can tell that just from these messages. Okay, I thought this worked out pretty good with the weekly message. I kind of like this. So let me know what you think, and if you guys liked it, I'll continue to do it this way on Sundays. Okay, have a great one. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.